Boy, have I've got one for you here, guys. Welcome to the Slim Pickens channel. Kimberly found this gem down there in Orlando for 50 bucks. The guy was selling it. And you know it's going to be a great deal. I like them deals where, you got to drive up to the opposite side of town and meet at an industrial park, at a roll-up gate to make the deal. This one here is a deal. This is really, it needs a lot of cleaning, and it does need some work, which is right up my alley. Turn that off, might be too much light there. Which is right up my alley. I'm doing this real slow because I want you to really take it in. Get your eyes in there. Get in there and get into those frets. Yes. This one's going to need a lot of cleanup. It is a Hondo 2. I did look up a brief history on these Hondos, and from what I read on the Google webs, they don't get a lot of credit that they should from a lot of those guitar snobs out there. They actually were pretty decent guitars. They ran, from what I could tell, somewhere from the 70s on up to the 90s. A lot of the guitar, like the acoustic guitars, were for some of these were for students and beginners and stuff, for classical guitars. And some of these, they were really well made. And this one, I tried to date it to see how old, and I'm guessing it's about an 80s model. Let me bring y'all out here. Somewhere in the 80s it was made. Bring y'all out here and let y'all just take this all in. Now that's not even, and this is in great shape to be as old as it is. Y'all have seen the headstock. You've seen the carving on it, which is just really awesome. Now there's one detail on the back, and I'll show you that too. Now that, I think, was probably that adhesive you see right there. I think that might have been the sticker that held the model number or serial number on the headstock, and somebody deleted on it, so probably for weight reduction reasons. But but the tuners, actually, it looks like somebody tried to love on this thing a little bit, because the tuners actually look brand new. And I don't know for sure, but I'm suspecting it had a fretboard redone or something, or reset, because you hear that? You hear that, guys and guisettes? My finger's grabbing a little ridge on the side of that fretboard, which probably means it's either a bit of glue where they had to re-glue it down, or they put a new fretboard on here. But somehow, I'm thinking this was actually worked on. Somebody actually loved on this thing a little bit. You see my Tarnex, you know it's fixing to go down. But look at the inlay on the back of this. Absolutely. Now, I did get a little disappointed in this. That's actually a sticker, a stencil sticker that they put down there, and then put the finish down on top of that. But look at the detail. It's really nice. The only thing missing, and I think I'm gonna buy it and put it on this thing, is the hummingbird that on the for the ivy, which is my thing. It's kind of like my insignia almost. But I'm gonna buy that pickguard and put it on here. But first, I think we need to get out and let's just take a second to look the thing over and see what kind of shape it's in, and see the inside too. Alright, y'all, deep breath. You're going in, and hopefully the bracing is okay. Alright, I'm seeing cleats in here, which tells me that they did have some work done to this guitar. probably had a crack in it, and they used the cleats to help pull the wood together or reset it. Something. That's what those little blocks of wood you see glued at the top there are. They're cleats. Just underneath the bridge. Support there in the middle. This is a classical guitar. And I bought it. I paid $50 for it. I'm just going to go around the horn here and make sure everything looks good. The bracing looks good. And I'm going to come back this way because I can't rotate my hand anymore. But everything looks good. They really did, from what I've heard, they really made some really good quality guitars. Hence the reason why this one has survived and lasted so many years. Now you notice something's deleted on. There was no truss rod in these. Okay? Now you see this guy, and my theory is this on these aren't supposed to have the steel strings on them. Okay? The little full metal strings, steel strings, fully round. You really want to put the nylon strings on these. There's no truss rod, and now you might get away with it with an extra light or a light gauge string, which I think these might just be a light gauge string. But what happens is if you get a heavier string on it, like that's phosphor bronze or anything like that, a whole lot of pressure starts to happen right in this general area, and the next thing you know, your neck heel is pulling from the body. So, oh, and another thing here too, a nut for the neck. I've already pulled this off, and y'all might see the slight problem that I have here. It is standing way too tall. Look at the frets. All right, once my camera focuses in, bring it out a little bit. There it goes. Look at the frets adjacent to where the top of that nut is. It's way too tall. So I'm going to have to probably, I'm just going to go ahead and not worry about ordering. I could probably order one. And this is the one I think, this taller nut here, I think it's ones you buy for a slide guitar, to raise your strings up to use it for a slide guitar. That was a string action I saw when I got it. I cut these strings moments ago before I started recording. So, yeah, so I'm going to sand this down in the next couple of episodes, get this on here. I got strings coming. They'll be here on Monday. It is now Sunday. So hopefully tomorrow I can get this thing strung up and ready to go. So yeah, you want to use the nylons. Now the nylon strings I have coming, says these are wound here, probably like down to 6, 5, and 4. They're wound, but when you get down to here, they're nylon. And since it's so old, I don't want to put a heavy gauge string on this. So let's dig in. I got my cleaners there. This episode is going to probably take a while because there's just a lot to take in here. I mean, really is. So let's dig in. Let me get the tripod, get y'all set up, and I'm going to start doing a do. See something wrong here? That just split. And problems with those wound strings, they were digging in to this plastic saddle. And it really is the cause of it actually splitting. So I'm just going to put that back in here and pretend that, we never saw that. I will take some sandpaper when I get the strings in, so don't cut my strings. Take a chance of it cutting my strings, and just sand that down. Or you know what? Let me see the bottom. How's the bottom look? If I can just flip it over, might just be able to flip it over. And that was another thing too. When I saw with what I saw here, no, it narrows out at the top. Okay, but what I saw here, these are tapered to one side. They slant them. Usually on these, they slant downward this way, and they do that for a reason. That way, the first string is lower this way. So when you do bar chords and stuff, it doesn't take a whole big angle on your hand, pretty much. I have to press down on bar chords, just makes it easier. So I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that and just wish it the best of luck. This guitar is just grabbing at this towel. You see that? I mean, it's just tacky. It is sticky. It's gooey. And whatever's on it is thick. I mean, thick. That top down real good. And it looks greasy. What is so greasy on it? I'll fix that. Not a problem on that. I'll have it fixed. Working right in no time. I have no doubt that this guitar is going to play good once I get it all done. I'm just going to pretty much, it's complete guitar. It's a complete guitar. There's nothing really missing. I'm just going to reuse what I have on here. Yeah, that's broke, but I can sand it down, smooth out the rough edges, and then put the strings on it, and it should be just fine. Once the strings are on it and it's holding tension, it's not going to go anywhere. So, yeah. Let me flip it over and get the back wipe down. What I'm doing now is doing a pre-wipe to remove any of the top layer dust. And sometimes people like to put stickers or whatever on these, and they goo them up, so I gotta get the goo off of them. I'm gonna put some Meguiar's on here. When I get done with it. I got my spray away for the neck. I'm really gonna tackle that neck. I'm anxious to see the transformation on that and see if I can bring those corrosive or, gnarly, tarnished looking frets, bring them back around, which I have no doubt. I've been lucky on. I've come across some dirty fretboards a lot in the past year or two with doing this and other things. But man, this neck, it just takes the cake. Pre-wipe reveal on the rag. And it's not too bad, but it's dirty. If you're faint at the sight of blood, don't look. I want to find the one that strung these like this. Buy him breakfast. And upon buying him breakfast and eating that said meal with him, I would like to beg them never to restring a guitar ever again. This is ridiculous. It stabbed me the first time, and which only confirms what I thought to begin with, that these are a medium gauge thick string. Because that's how, and I don't mean nothing dirty by this, how stiff that E string is. It's pretty, it's hardly any pliability, like any kind of maneuverability in that string. Is so damn, you got to take a lot of effort to bend this string. And I can't get those all the way out of there, so I'm going to have to come back to those at another time. But I can get these off of here and get this cleaned up the way I want. But yeah, I'm going to have to come back to those, I guess, when the strings show up in the next episode. Let me show you what kind of stuff I'm fighting here with these strings. Do you see a slip knot? I'm not the only one that sees this. Who is the insane person that does this? Why? Why? And this is the stuff I'm fighting to get these strings off of here. It should not be like, you don't have to do this, guys and guys. You don't have to do this. You don't. Stop it. It's not that hard. Apparently, when I said this shouldn't be a big problem to fix and clean and all this other stuff, apparently that pissed off Life. And they said, well, hang on there, Buster. Try taking the strings off this thing. And I've seen something here that I'm going to try to choose to ignore. I don't know if y'all see this, but there's actual cracks in the plastic. But I think these are just sleeves anyway that go over an actual metal piece in there. So I'm just going to try to ignore that. I don't think it's going to be a problem with the strings. But right now, I wasted so much time getting those strings off here that now I just want to move on and clean the frets now. I got my Tarnex. I'm going to go ahead and do what I did last time with these and apply them straight to the frets that I got here. put some on a paper towel and just rub it on the frets. I don't doubt it. I would try to protect the wood, but I ain't gonna. Now listen, if you are playing on a high-end guitar, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. You might not want to use the cleaners and the methods that you see me use here. If you can spring the money for an expensive guitar, then you can most certainly spring the money for those cleaners, professional cleaners or whatever, keep those clean. Because here, these are low money guitars to me. They're like, $50 for this one. So if it causes damage to the finish or anything of that nature, I'm not gonna cry. I mean, it's $50. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on there. Now I'm gonna do something really stupid now, and I'm gonna take this sandpaper. Now that I got that Tarnex on the fret, usually I would block off the fretboard itself, but I'm gonna do something real dumb and try to attempt to clean without doing that. But I might just do one fret at a time. I'm already scoring up the wood, and that's great. Very lightly. Don't put any pressure. I mean, don't put any kind of pressure behind that. That neck board is so dry. You can see I got score marks here, but I'm not going to cry over them. I'm going to apply some more Tarnex. Really get these, because these frets have been sitting a while. I'm going to get some more on it. I mean, this wood is absolutely dried out, and it is just drinking up whatever moisture it can get. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, just by rubbing the Tarnex on there, it's getting off a lot of stuff. So I'm going to come here very easily and just I need to try and not move sandpaper around, but lift it and place it. I want very minimal. It's going to scratch the wood, but I want it very minimal if I can help it. And this is a low grit paper. I'm not using anything. I'm using a fine grit paper to do this with. Alright, now, I think they'll clean up the rest of the way now with that sprayway that I'm going to put on there. This ASMR moment is brought to you by Sprayway. Dun, da, 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 da. Spray it on there thick. Don't be afraid. Just spray it on there. It didn't mix up very good, did it? It's supposed to foam. Shake that up real good and apply it again. You're supposed to give me some foam, Sprayway. What are you doing? Alright. Lid, please. Now we'll kind of wipe away the excess that I got on the body really well. Yeah, don't do this on your high-end guitars, guys. And now with a clean paper towel, a clean one now, let's see what we can get off this neck. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that nasty stuff. It's not color or stain. That's because this is, I think, what do they call that? Roseway, unless they tried to paint the fretboard at one point. I don't know. I mean, it's starting to kind of color fade right there. They wouldn't have tried to spray paint the damn fretboard, would they? Oh, couldn't have. Which would explain why they had to reset it back on there. Maybe they pulled it off and done it that way. No, that can't be right. I'm gonna hit it again with that sprayway. I ain't scared of it. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm moving in the right direction with it anyway. getting it cleaned up like that. Going in there. Looks really good on camera anyway, huh? There we go. And I think since that stuff's so deep, I think I'm gonna use this detail brush and kind of just give it a nice scrubbing. Maybe kind of help agitate it a little bit, loosen it up some more, and really bring out the life in it. I'm seeing some actual colors of wood. Look at it, look, turn blue, guys. I don't know. I guess it could just be years of just not being cleaned. Bringing it down a little bit. Let's give it a nice scrubbing. I've had my share of dirty guitars before, but this one here, I knew this was going to be a challenge. No, I didn't. Remember? Beginning of this, I said this should be alright. This should be kind of easy. So far, I bled on the strings. Need to get rid of this nasty thing now. Yeah, it's all kinds of dirty. Clean my brush out for the next use. I think I did a good job with that. I oscillated it, or agitated it pretty good. Now let me get one of my wet wipes and rinse it down. I can actually see wood grain now. Look at that dark, nasty, gray stuff come off of this. Y'all seeing this? It's like ink. It's instant. Alright. I ain't going to show y'all the next run. I'm going to go ahead and hit that spray one more time for time reasons. Y'all see what I'm getting off of this. This is just years of just sitting, not getting cleaned. I don't know why it's black like that. I've never had it come off black like this. But I'm actually exposing the wood grain. So once I get this done and cleaned up, I'll bring y'all in some more and let y'all see it. I'm going to dry this off now and see where I missed. I'm really anxious to see the transformation on this finish I got here. So let's go ahead and, she's a little gunked up from the last use, but that's okay. Go ahead and just ease it on there. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, just ease it on there. Way too much. I'm gonna go for it anyway. It's a dead lizard. Oh yeah, she's runny too. Great. I put way too much on here. Way too much. I'm going to just let this sit on here. Oh yeah, way too much. This is gonna take forever for me to get off here. I'm gonna be wearing this stuff for like days now. Just kind of rub it in. I really wish I would have started on the back. Alright, so that's my applicator. I don't need any more, so I'm going to use that to apply it to the back. Let me get a dry towel. Let that sit there for a second or two. Yeah, I put way too much. Probably just a little dab will do you. I think I got a lot of towels here to use. I'm just about ready for it to buff out now. I had to bring in the paper towel to help soak up some of it. Squeaky clean, maybe? Oh. Yeah. Small little snafu, I'll fix that. way too much. Oh my goodness. This thing's coming around right now. This thing is really coming to life, guys. Get a little bit on the sides. I'm really knocking things over here. Ugh. And since I have enough on this rag here to do this, I just turned off the camera light thinking that was going to help anything, but I'm just going to apply it with this rag I have right here. This is all I need. I got tons of it on this rag. I'm just going to use it on the back. Just rub it all around here. I love this McGuire's on these things because it brings out the shine in these instruments. Go ahead and roll it up here, you know, get up in there. Oh, I need to flip it over and get the headstock. That's a pretty part too. All that hair. Get the side some, you know. All up in there, dig in it. There we go. Done with y'all now. Throw y'all out. Looks like I got almost a whole roll of towels here. And now we dig. And that really turned out really good. It's really making a great transformation. Actually, it's really coming around. Look at this! Look at this sheen. The finish is in great shape. Now, I just need to flip it over, do the headstock, and oil up that fretboard, and we're gonna call this done. I'm almost finished, guys. I promise you. But I just want to kind of give some attention to this beautifully carved out headstock here and see if I can't really bring out the luster out of that carving there. This is a beautiful guitar. It really is beautiful. So I got that pre-wiped now. I think it's not so damp that I can't really get anything on it. Let me get a paper towel on it because I want to put a dab of McGuire's up there. I'll bring it out. Actually, it's kind of shining on its own. I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, she's kind of just shining on her own. Boy, I tell you, that's pretty. Alright, so now let's oil up this fretboard and we can call this episode done, guys. especially when you hit the sprayway on here, it dries out the wood because you're pulling whatever oil and whatever that was moisture that was on the fretboard out by cleaning it and lifting it. So I apply some of this. Now don't joke on me. Now this stuff actually works pretty good. It's petroleum, so you're just oiling up your fretboard. And don't worry, it don't leave your fretboards gooey or anything like that. It comes off clean, but it helps protect the wood a little bit. Don't want it, because if it dries out, the wood dries out, it becomes like brittle, and then it'll crack, and that's not going to be good. You don't want it to dry out and crack. So I'm kind of putting a good heaping amount on here because this fretboard, it is dry severely. So I'm trying to put a little extra on than I normally would. Kind of that there. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to start agitating it now with a wet wipe. Not to wipe it off, but to kind of work it in a little bit, kind of break it down a little bit. With a wet wipe, just go easy, just barely over it. And you kind of see it kind of turn to this filmy looking stuff, like real filmy. But what you're doing is you're just kind of breaking it down just slightly. Of course, we all know that oil and water, it don't mix, but what you're doing is you're kind of loosening it up just slightly so you can be able to buff it out. Just like that. Now, come along with your dry towel and just start buffing it out. Like I said, you probably don't want to do this on your high-end guitar. This is how I've just been doing it for years, and it works for me because I've always bought cheap instruments. I never really had an expensive instrument, and I got that Dean, but I bought it for actually my family bought that for Christmas for me. I'm thinking about 13 years ago, maybe a little more. I think they paid it at a pawn shop like maybe a couple $100 at a pawn shop, and that fretboard feels a lot better. All right, here comes the reveal time. Real slow. Look at this sign. I mean, it's just a mirror image. And the frets, they always come around, don't they? They're beautiful now. I tell you, that Tarnex really does what it's supposed to. It really does. You can actually see the color of the wood. I can't wait to do the playback on this video and to see how it